A lot of you might be looking around and seeing that the world has changed a lot. It has changed. A lot of you are probably feeling really hopeless, really sad, really depressed. And you're wondering, why doesn't someone do something? You know, or you're thinking to yourself, we gotta save the world. We need to do something. But what do we do? What can we do? And you're just waiting on a messiah, just waiting on a leader, waiting on someone to show you the right path, the right way. Newsflash, I'm not that someone. But all irony and jokes aside, yes, there is a group of devil worshippers out there doing the work of Satan. And you've heard of the Hadron Collider or whatever the fuck, and seen the videos of Joe Biden touching little girls and just doing all sorts of things. And that's not me dissing him. There's actually video of him on the internet of him touching little girls and a bunch of other stuff. But we think everything's hopeless and pointless, right? And whenever you do think of to do something, you're always faced with, do I just go protest? Like, is that the only thing I can do? And if so, no one really wants to protest with me. It seems like I'm alone in this. You're not alone in this. Everyone's thinking the exact same thing as you, and I'll tell you the reason why no one's doing anything. And the simple truth is, when someone thinks, let's do something, first off, before I even get started on that, understand that we're all connected. We're all one. We all think the same things. We're all part of the same body. We're all part of the same consciousness. Okay? So moving forward, when you think to yourself, we have to do something. President of the United States, he's a child molester, clearly. We need to do something. First thing that pops into your head is the first thing that's going to pop into everybody else's head. What do we do? What can we do is usually the thing. What can we do? And, it's that question that is the reason why no one's doing anything. Because when they think, what can I do? They instantly start down this spiraling path of hopelessness where they just say, I'm just one person, I'm just this, I'm just that, I'm no one special, I'm just that, my opinions don't matter, this and that, because that's what you've been conditioned to think. No one stops and thinks, I am powerful, I am mighty, I am God's vessel, I will pull through this, but not just because God wants me to, but because I know what to do. In these situations, I know how I'm going to react. And in the future, I know what I can do to save my country, to save my family, to save the word of Christ, whatever it is you're trying to save. I know how to save it. It's very simple, really. It's very simple. You want to save America? Talk to Americans. That's always the first option. Whatever you want to say, talk to other people, get people like-minded, just like you. And if you can't get them to do the thing, want the same things you want or do the same things you do, then work it as a business angle and try to make deals with them. Try to find what it is, they want out of life and try to give it to them, mutually benefit each other and build a relationship that operates towards your goals, your same goals. Connect with each other, with human society, your brothers and sisters around you. Connect. I promise you, you'll, in no time, if you just do that and work on that every single day, looking for people, talking to people, talking to people on the street, and on the internet, wherever, it doesn't matter. People across country, it really doesn't matter where they are. In some way, some small way, I guarantee they can help you, either whether it's by word of ear, word of mouth, what it is, they can help you. Gotta remember, this is God's energy flowing through the universe. These people are coming to you for a reason. You're going to these people for a reason. You can't just sit on your ass and do nothing. It all happens for a reason. And you may not know how it's going to end, but it's never going to begin if you don't start it. Never. Even if someone comes up to you and says, hey, I got a plan, it's never gonna go through if you don't stand and act. You're part of God's plan, just like everybody else. You're chosen, just like everybody else. You weren't here on accident. You don't deserve to be in the 80s. You're not a 90s child. I should have been, in my 30s back when, in 1880 or some shit like that. I should have been in the 60s. No. You're here for a reason. You're powerful. Your opinions matter. Who you are matters. And I'm sure a lot of you know the vote system is rigged. And I'm sure a lot of you know that they gave crack to black people. By that they, I don't mean like some ominous they. We know who it was. There's actual documents confirming who it was, and there's actual documents confirming who allowed it to happen. Just like all these assassination tips, there's the documented facts. And people are wondering, why is no one doing anything about it? It has nothing to do with hopelessness, has nothing to do with people just wanting to live in this. No one wants to live in this. It has everything to do with our state of mind. No one's talking to each other. Look on the streets. No one's talking to each other. And why is that? Because we've all been hypnotized to do what each other are doing. Monkey see, monkey do. We've all been hypnotized into that type of mentality. And what are the celebrities talking about? Kim Kardashian's ass, Drake's new album, talk show hosts talking about some dumb shit, but every once in a while they'll throw up that dynasty sign. Every once in a while they'll throw up the Hail Satan little the devil horn thing. And I'm not talking about like the punk rock type thing. I'm talking about legit Hail Satan. A talk show host should not start off by doing that. In a movie, you shouldn't be doing, unless if it's a rock and roll thing, then there should be a rock and roll context, but there isn't. Yet here we all are, accepting and allowing it. And the reason we're doing that is because in our minds we feel a certain way, but out loud we don't feel that certain way. Someone asks you on the street, how are you doing? You don't say, well, honestly, Tom, I'm a little pissed off at the government because we elected this dickhead ass Joe Biden. I'm a little angry at all my sisters and brothers because they all got vaccinated and they didn't know that it wasn't FDA approved when they first rolled them out. I'm a little angry at Donald Trump because apparently he did this Jan 6 thing, but I don't even know if he really did it. I'm pissed off. And all this Illuminati shit and devil worship, I'm pissed off overall. But no one says that. No one says that. If anything, they'll just say, oh yeah, I don't like Joe Biden. I'm just pissed off that our president's being a dickhead. Something like that. That's it. Truth is, we need to start telling each other the truth. Otherwise, we're not going to see the truth because we won't even acknowledge it to our best friend, to our moms, to our brothers, to our sisters, to our sons, to our daughters. We won't tell them, hey, Joe Biden is a child molester. Or, hey, Donald Trump did do some dumb shit, but he was trying to do whatever it is, whatever your opinion is. We need to stop arguing over it, and we need to start looking at the facts. Whatever you believe in, I don't know. Go write it on a wall somewhere. Go tag it on someone's doorstep. I don't care. Share it. We need to communicate this shit. We need to crack down. We basically need to just stop ignoring the problem. You can't look for the solution to a problem if you don't acknowledge that there's a problem first. And right now, we haven't acknowledged it. And the funny thing is, you see millions of things wrong with everything happening today. There was this show called Cuties on Netflix. You look it up. Cuties, Netflix, look it up. If you haven't, you know what I'm talking about? They actually got sued for child pornography. Netflix, and this is new. This is some 2021 shit. This isn't like, oh, that was a long time. No, it was new. Got sued for child pornography. All this pedophilia stuff, it's right in your face, and it's not to the point where it's like, okay, now we can ignore it, because back in 2010, I was asleep. I really did just ignore it. Or I thought it was a conspiracy theory. I thought all the satanic worship in the music videos just, coincidence. Coincidence after coincidence after coincidence. And I'm not trying to have this whole podcast, whatever the fuck you want to call it, just be filled with me talking about, satanic shit. I'm trying to talk about some real shit here. I'm trying to wake up your spirits. What I really want to do by even making this video or whatever it's going to be, I don't know yet, is just get you to see your own potential. And this isn't some weird scam to where, you buy my free album or my song or something. This isn't that. Has nothing to do with that. This isn't some like motivational book or motivational Martin MLK speech. This isn't that. This is me trying to wake up the sleeping angel within you, the sleeping, I don't know what you call him, word of Christ, that higher self, that halo above your head. I'm trying to get you to see it. I'm trying to get you to see your self-worth, because a lot of people really think they're worthless out here. They're really walking these streets thinking, yeah, I ain't shit, or I can't do shit. or that it's the complete opposite. They think they are the shit and that they can do anything except when it comes to, owning up to your problems, getting an actual good job, taking care of your parents and, taking care of your children and stuff. It seems like everybody's got their head up their ass, and I'm not trying to make fun of people. I'm trying to unite them. I'm trying to tell you like this goes above and beyond that. And I'm not trying to say, it's not about end times. It's not about Satan being summoned, although I believe in that. I do think that is, a possibility of the future. But it's about communication. And if you want to stop the podcast right here, or whatever the fuck this is, you want to stop the video, go ahead, because I'm probably just going to be ranting for the rest of it. But if you really want to stick with me on this, then I implore you to listen. And I thank you for giving me a piece of your time. And speaking of time, that leads into my next very important topic. We're wasting too much time. We were looking around and, people are realizing right now, 2 years ago actually, movies suck. Hasn't been a good movie ever since the pandemic. Like, honestly, a year before the pandemic, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5, how many years before the pandemic? A lot of years before the pandemic, there hasn't been any good movies or anything, no TV shows, nothing that really strikes interest. And you want to know why? It's because it's all been in preparation to get your mind in the mind of your children. All the famous celebrities, they all seem like more bullshit than the last year's celebrities. This year's celebrities look even worse than last year's. Got abusive boyfriends, got celebrities on drugs out in public. We got people just shaking their ass. We got some celebrities just literally acting on these movies when all they've ever acted on is some YouTube camera, And you're wondering why this is happening. You don't have to wonder. There are plenty of people, not on mainstream news, but around the block that'll tell you it's happening because it's a social engineering. And a lot of you probably are just sick of hearing that term. But your subconscious is real, guys. Your subconscious is real. Scientists already know all about it. Psychologists already know all about it. About how to control you through subliminal messaging. It's a real thing. There have been tests done both publicly and privately on how to do it. They used to test the monkeys. You know this. There's been plenty of camps and places, especially in the movies. They express what they do in the movies. They show these monkeys, these violent images, these, satanic things, these fucked up, whatever, on television. The brainwashing program, Tell-A-Vision. And then it makes the monkey more violent, more aggressive. They'll just set the monkey down for hours at a time, days at a time, feed him, clean his shit, all that, and just have him watch violent TV. And you know what happens? He becomes a violent, aggressive individual. And then they do the same, only the other way around, and show him some loving, good shit, some nice, instruction manual shit, like learning type stuff, learning how to read, write type stuff. And then they breed a nice, civilized young gentleman monkey. This shit is real, man. And, a lot of you probably looking around and you're like, yeah, I can clearly see it's real. But, I really, even though you kind of explained it in the first part, you're probably thinking, I really don't know how to move forward with this. Like, I don't know how to move forward with my president of the United States being a pedophile. Like, I don't have the right to just kick him out of office. What am I supposed to do with that? What am I supposed to do with the Hadron Collider? Like, how am I supposed to stop that? What am I supposed to do about, them ruining all our plants and vegetables, spraying crops? How am I supposed to stop that? And the answer is, you don't go to war. I'll tell you what the answer is at first. You don't go to war. You don't pick up knives, and pitchforks and shit. I mean, if you really think about the word of God, and I'm not even really religious, I just like quoting religion because it's very powerful and there's just nothing but truth in it. I'd rather quote religion than quote some science book, But anyways, the answer isn't violence. You know, just like Jesus said with 10 commandments and shit, you know, thou shalt not kill, harm, injure, all that, love thy neighbor. Actually, that's pretty much the exact answer, love. Really want to stop them from growing food the wrong way. Like, as ironic as it sounds, what you need to do as an individual is grow food the right way. I know that sounds weird. Like, how am I going to stop them from growing food with all this toxic material if I grow food without toxic material? Like, how is my behavior going to change their behavior? And I'll tell you right now, if everybody right now, because we all agree, fuck the chemicals and the poison they put in our food, we want healthier food. If they stopped doing it, the food would grow better. We all agree with that. Sure, of course we all agree with it. We want to be healthy. We don't want to be fat fucks sitting down watching The Simpsons all day, like the third rerun or whatever the fuck, as they predict the future and shit. Like, we don't want to, like, come on. We're individuals who have a brain and who can think. We know what we want. So if we all did that, what would happen next? I'm gonna try to speed this up, but basically what would happen is the farms start losing money. And the reason why they sprayed their crops in the first place was to what? Yes, gain money. So they start losing money, more money than they're gaining from spraying their crops. What do you think they're gonna do next? Regardless of how many grants they get from the government, eventually, if we just keep this shit up and stop being lazy, eventually, which is, you know, sloth, another sin that we're feeding into, part of the reason why we're in this space in the first place, but fast forward past that, eventually, they're gonna have no choice but to be like, look, I'm not living off government grants my whole life and just throwing away all this food. I'm gonna stop spraying the crops. If the people want food that isn't sprayed, I'm gonna break my neck a little bit and stop spraying the fucking crops. I know I built my entire career around it, but honestly, at this point, this is what the people want. I have no choice. If I want to continue my lifestyle, I have no choice but to do as they say. To do as they do. It's that simple. And now, all of our crops are no longer sprayed on because we're growing our own crops. Hell, maybe even farmers might actually be out of jobs for a minute. I know it's weird, but they might be. But it'll be fine as long as we love each other, as long as we help them, as long as we, ease them back into society. It'll be perfectly fine. And we'll always need farmers. We'll always need, those kind of crops. So it's not like they're just going to get snuffed out because everyone's growing their own food, because it's not like we could ever grow that much, food for ourselves. Some people don't even have fucking house. They have an apartment. So it's, really, really hard to grow that kind of food on that level to feed you and your children every day. It's really hard. So we're going to need them. So my thing is, a lot of these problems are, just think about, like my friend Jorge said, when you're making a business, doing a business, you're first starting off, you're by yourself. Everything you need to know, every trade you need to learn in order to be a YouTuber, you got to be cameraman, lighting, makeup, you got to do all that shit, advertisement, you got to do all of it. And it's like a giant octopus with like multiple legs. And he said every time you step up and you get more money, you pay somebody to do something that you don't really feel comfortable doing anymore. You focus on everything else. So you cut off one of your legs pretty much, or your arms. And that's what we need to do. There's so many problems. There's so many things wrong with America. So many things we want to change. We need to unite ourselves as a front and stop, hashtag LGBTQ, hashtag Black Lives Matter. We need to stop hashtagging that shit, because that ain't doing nothing. That's not spreading anything. There's a difference between saying you want something and doing something actually about it to get it. We need to stop hashtagging that stuff. We need to create actual movements that actually mean something, that actually matter, that actually change things. Change the way you behave, to change the way, the world operates. Those kind of movements. Not just saying, oh, we want black people to be integrated in society. No. Doing something about it. Not changing the law so it happens. Because the law, we don't need any more laws. Like, come on now. I think we can all agree on that. We need less. So let's change the way we behave so we can get what we need. So we need to stop hashtagging that stuff, and we need to just sort of lean on each other, because if you've never done stuff like that before, I guarantee there are plenty of people that can explain it to you. You probably look it up on YouTube. Plenty of people that can just, boom, here you go. So if we did stuff like that, one leg at a time, one operation at a time, eventually we'll be left with the huge problems like secret cult organization that rules the world. How are we going to get rid of this cabal? I'm not going to call them what they call themselves. It starts with an E and it ends with a elite, but I'm not going to call them that, because that's pretty much freely admitting that they're better than you in some way, and I won't give them that satisfaction. But this cabal, this secret cabal organization, whatever you want to call them, that sort of thing, that's a harder problem, because the law, the police officers that we want to protect us and want to serve us are serving them, the main ones, not the actual officers, but the commissioners, you know, and the directors, the people above the commissioners, or whatever you want to call them, the ones that, you know, commission the commissioners. You know, they're all under the satanic cabal. I don't want to say all. You get what I mean. The main ones, the important ones. At this point in time, yes, safe to say that they have that much control. Maybe 100 years ago, it would have been a little different. But now, yeah, it's pretty safe to say they have that much control. So we have to start from square one. We have to start all over. We got to start looking at the behavior of people. And if they're not behaving right, us as a unit, we need to demand these investigations, because there are so many investigations, you know, about Hunter Biden's laptop. Just that one right off the top of my head. That investigation is dead in the water. That shit is done. Biden right there should have been out of office just from suspicion. Just from suspicion, it should have been like, well, we're not comfortable, so you're out of office. Just from suspicion, it should have been that simple. It would have been that simple 100 years ago. But they're so out in the open. They want to be out in the open. So at this point, it's like they start the investigation so you know about it, because they want you to know about it, the ones who are woke. And then they end it dead in the water immediately while actually having good evidence, and just have random people dying, you know, certain events. And this is always a message to the people who are woke, so we lose hope. But when you stop losing hope, and we need to double down. And it's like, how do we force them to do what we say? Like, we hold all the cards, bro. Their money system only works because you chip into it. If we all throw away our money right now, guess what? No more money system. And a lot of you probably thinking, how can I live without money? But money is the problem. You eat, breathe, sleep, and shit money. Every time you want to change the world, every time you want to do something good, what's the first thing that pops up in your head? Oh, wait, yeah, but I have work tomorrow. Oh, wait, yeah, but I want to get fired. Oh, wait, yeah, but this, that, boo, blah, whatever. That's the brainwash. That's the manipulation of mind control. Can you honestly say building a better world for your son is more important than your job? And a lot of people will be like, well, yeah, because as I'm building that better world, his world's going to fall apart. Because, you know, you're going to get evicted. You're going to have to live with your mom now. You're going to have to take fucking cold showers or live in a shelter. And it's sad. It's sad, but that's part of the process. If you want something, you have to sacrifice something to get that something. It does not come free. If you want freedom, you're going to have to fight for it. Just like the slaves did. What do you think we are right now? A bunch of fucking slaves. And if you want to get out of slavery, you're going to have to fight for it. Of course, if you want get Joe Biden out of office, or, you know, stop these fucking satanic people from throwing up their dynasty signs and videos, if you want to make a law about that, we could definitely make a law about that. Why wouldn't we be able to make a law about that? You know what I mean? Of course we could make some sort of law about that. Without a doubt. Have it not break our constitutional rights. We can do something like that. Definitely. But if you want that, you're going to have to sacrifice a bunch of shit for it, because the people who don't want that are everywhere. The people who don't want you to be able to do that, I mean, why would they not fight back? I mean, they're not just going to let you, go ahead and allow them to pass that law. They control everything. They got somebody in the president right now, somebody in the president's seat right now, running shit, as they're running shit behind the scenes. Justin Trudeau running shit way over in Canada. You really think these people who got hands all over the country are just going to allow you to do some shit like that? No. We got to fight them. Like, we have to sacrifice. A lot of you guys I feel like you just don't want to sacrifice. That's another part of the problem. You ask, what can I do? And then every time you think of something, you say, well, I'm going to have to sacrifice too much for that. You're going to have to sacrifice a lot. We're all going to have to sacrifice. It's either you sacrifice a lot, or everybody as a whole, as a human race, sacrifices just a little bit to get what we want. You know what I'm saying? If we all right now decided not to go to work for one full week, all of us, I'm not talking about, half the population, everybody, and said until Joe Biden gets in to this, that, whatever we demand, say we're not going to work. They would have no choice but to actually do some shit about it. They couldn't just be like, all right, just don't work, fuckers. No, they have no choice but to acknowledge us, have no choice but to sit down and talk to one another. They have no choice. Literally be backed into a corner. and then we can get what we wanted. And everyone would have to just sacrifice a week off from work, spending time with your family. That wouldn't even be that much. Or we can have a smaller group of people sacrifice months off of work. And obviously, if you sacrifice months off of work, how are you supposed to pay the rent? How are you supposed to this? How are you supposed to that? So you get what I'm saying? You know, Jesus Christ, they said he died for our sins. In order to, excuse me, there's a bus right next to me. In order to save us, he had to die. In order to save the entire population, whatever you want to call it, he had to die. That's what it costed him. Because it was just one man. So of course, in order to do this thing, this one person, what did he have to sacrifice? Everything. In order to save what? Everything. It's called fair trade. You gotta give something of equal value. The Satanists know this. Why do you think they always sacrificing children, innocents, virgins, always sacrificing them constantly to get what they want? They understand the true meaning of sacrifice. That's one of the main reasons the Japanese were so fucking ferocious and powerful in World War II. They were in Vietnam and all this shit. Why do you think they were so powerful? Yeah, there was a lot of them, but we had the advantage. We had so many advantages. All they had was numbers. We just about had everything else. But when they fought with their mind, body, and spirits. So what does that mean? That means they sacrificed everything. Every last drop of blood. Everything. They literally, as they were dying in airplanes, created something called a kamikaze. And just before their last dying breath, popped their plane into somebody else's or into some weird area where there's enemies. They didn't just allow themselves to die. They didn't just go home. All right, we lost. No, never surrender, never give up. Those were their words. Every civilian having a gun. Every civilian doing their part. It was a different kind of war with them. We've never seen that kind of war because we lost our spirituality. Everybody else was thinking about what they could gain during the war, whether it was honor or money. But for them, it wasn't about money. And to be honest, for a lot of them, honor was only a small piece of the pie. Honor had a little bit to do with it, but they weren't on the right side. So, it wasn't 100% about honor. It was about unity, the prosperity of the people, not just honoring your army, your country, or whatever the fuck. But anyways, I'm getting kind of tired of talking. I think I might touch up on one more subject. I just gotta let the thoughts flow. I think I'm just gonna talk freely. Try to stop thinking. A lot of you guys need, and I'm gonna change that. I don't want to tell you guys what to do. I don't want to, change the flow of your direction. If God put you here for a reason, it's up to you to find out why. And it's up to you to choose your own path and not allow anything else to influence you, not me, not anything else. Do what's best for you, whatever that means. And don't let these other people confuse you on what that really is. See through the lies, see the truth behind everything. The symbolism is about more than just, it's about more than just a simple symbol. Everything on that symbol, means something. Just look at the American flag. The stripes mean something. The stars mean something. The colors mean something. That's the whole flag. The whole flag has a meaning. Every individual piece of the flag has a meaning to it. It's that deep. It's that spiritual. And every time you think about the flag, you look at the flag, you're giving your energy to the flag. Maybe not some form of, it probably isn't too far from some form of worship. Always looking at the flag every morning, putting your hand above your heart and saying these words. It was really some form of worship, some form of prayer, some form of, something. And a lot of y'all just pray all day. That's a good thing. Kids can pray too. Do more than just pray. I'm just end it here.